Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual on Firstpost, where we get you the top 50 stories from around the world. I'm Alison Lagrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. We start with the latest updates coming in from the US elections. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris has conceded defeat to her Republican rival Donald Trump. She delivered an emotional speech at her alma mater, Howard University in Washington, D.C. Harris also warned of challenges and potential dark times for the nation. The outgoing U.S. Vice President urged her supporters to remain optimistic and to hold on to faith. Kamala Harris called President-elect Donald Trump to congratulate him on his victory. This is according to a senior advisor to the outgoing Vice President. She discussed the need for a peaceful transfer of power with Trump. Harris also urged Trump to be a president for all Americans. Now, both the leaders agreed on the importance of unifying the country. U.S. President Joe Biden praised his deputy Kamala Harris for her integrity and courage. Biden called Kamala a tremendous partner and a public servant full of integrity. He noted that Harris stepped up under extraordinary circumstances and led a historic campaign. The outgoing president suspended his re-election campaign earlier this month, endorsing Vice President Harris for the job. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden congratulated Donald Trump for his victory in the presidential election. He also invited the president-elect to visit the White House for a meeting. Biden said he would ensure a smooth transition and emphasized the importance of working to bring the country together. President-elect Donald Trump is expected to begin work as soon as he assumes official duties in January. He is likely to work on enacting major changes on immigration, energy, and foreign policy. Trump has also signaled that he would swiftly move to roll back protections for transgender youth. He has vowed to sign an executive order on day one to stop automatic citizenship for the children of what he calls illegal aliens. President-elect Donald Trump's election victory is set to help him with his illegal troubles. Now, Trump was slapped with multiple cases after leaving office in 2020, including at the federal level. Now, reports say the Justice Department is evaluating how to end 2 federal cases before Trump enters office. And that is because a sitting president can't be indicted, prosecuted, or jailed. Reports say cases against him may be dismissed or paused until he leaves office. And Vice President-elect J.D. Vance thanked his wife, Usha Vance, after securing a resounding victory. Vance took to social media to say that his wife made it possible for him to win. Now, Usha Vance is set to become the first Indian origin woman to serve as the Second Lady of the U.S. The Vice President-elect also thanked President-elect Donald Trump for giving him the opportunity. Meanwhile, 6 Indian Americans have been elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in this election. Indian-American lawyer Suhas Subramaniam became the first from the community to be elected from Virginia. All other 5 Indian Americans have been re-elected to the House of Representatives. Now, the list includes Sri Tanidar, Raja Krishnamurti, Ro Khanna, Pramila Jayapal, and Dr. Ami Bera. And several American leaders have extended their wishes to President-elect Donald Trump on his victory. Former President Barack Obama said, "Our point of view can't always win." He urged for a peaceful transfer of power. The former President George Bush also reacted to the win. He extended his warm wishes to President-elect Donald Trump and his deputy, J.D. Vance. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to President-elect Donald Trump yesterday. In a social media post, Prime Minister Modi said he called his dear friend Trump to congratulate him. Indian Prime Minister said that he was looking forward to working closely with Trump once again. Both the leaders have also affirmed their commitment to deepening ties in various sectors. And global reactions are also continuing to pour in on Trump's victory. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had congratulated Trump on the call and both leaders agreed to maintain close dialogue during the call. And South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol congratulated President-elect Donald Trump on securing a victory in the election. President Yoon has discussed to continue the close ties in security and economic fields that both countries share. Meanwhile, the Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has also spoken to Trump, and he added that he sought to hold a meeting with Trump as soon as possible. And Bangladesh's ousted leader, Sheikh Hasina, referred to herself as Prime Minister of the country. Hasina made the reference in a congratulatory letter to the incoming US President Donald Trump. Hasina was forced to flee Bangladesh in August after months of violent protests. The Bangladeshi leader is living in India ever since. And migrants in Mexico's border cities expressed fears about the impact of Trump's election win on their asylum-seeking process. The asylum seekers fear that Trump would end the CB1 program. The program is a key pathway to legal entry into the U.S. And students at the university in Alabama decked campus trees with toilet paper. The celebratory response came after Donald Trump's election victory. The students sang U.S. national anthem to mark the celebrations. And protesters gathered outside the U.S. Embassy in London yesterday after Trump's election win. The protesters called the U.S. president-elect racist and held placards reading, quote-unquote, "No to Trump." And the Democratic Party's Josh Stein is set to become North Carolina's first Jewish governor. Stein is projected to defeat Republican Party's Mark Robinson. Now, the gubernatorial race was closely watched due to Robinson's controversial comments in the past. And shifting our focus to some news from other parts of the world. Israel Defense Forces launched fresh airstrikes on suburbs of southern Beirut in Lebanon yesterday. And a day before, Israeli strikes on Baalbek and Bekaa regions killed at least 40 people. The Israeli attack followed evacuation orders in these areas. The Israeli military claimed it had hit the Hezbollah infrastructure. And Germany is set to hold a snap election. This comes after the Free Democratic Party withdrew its support from Chancellor Olaf Scholz's ruling coalition. This as the German Chancellor fired an FDP minister. Scholz announced that he will seek a confidence vote in January of 2025. The snap election is likely to be called by the end of March 2025. And there will be one more snap election in Europe in the immediate future. Before Germany, Ireland will hold a snap election on the 29th of November. Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris announced election in a bid to extend his party's run in power. Now, his Fine Gael party is in power in Ireland since 2010. And South Africa has temporarily shut its main border crossing with Mozambique. This comes amid deadly protests in Mozambique over last month's disputed election results. Several Mozambican officials have asked South Africa for refuge amid deadly unrest. And South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol said that the country is not ruling out providing weapons directly to Ukraine. This comes amid the deployment of North Korean troops on the Russian side amid the war in Ukraine. South Korea still has long-standing policy of not providing weapons to countries in conflict. And India has cancelled scheduled consular camps in Canada over security reasons. In a post on social media, the Indian consulate in Toronto said that Canada is unable to provide minimum security protection for such camps. And this comes days after the Khalistan supporters disrupted a consular camp in Brampton. Meanwhile, chaos erupted in the Legislative Assembly of India's Jammu and Kashmir. And this came after a member of the Legislative Assembly waved a banner that called for restoration of Article 370. The provision once granted a special status to the erstwhile state. And in northern India's Himachal Pradesh, Congress Party dissolved its state unit. This comes months after Congress failed to win a single seat in the state in the Lok Sabha elections. The Congress party is in power in Himachal Pradesh's state. It has been since 2022. And in climate news, the residents living in India's capital New Delhi and its nearby regions are struggling amidst choking pollution. As per the Central Pollution Control Board, the average air quality index remains at 362. The air quality remains in the severe category. And in the Philippines, strong winds and rain battered the Cagayan province as Typhoon Yingxing has approached the region. Authorities have ordered evacuations in several areas. The Philippines frequently hit by tropical storms, around 20 each year, and often faces severe rains, high winds, and deadly landslides. Hurricane Rafael has hit Cuba's southwest shore. After its landfall, the island's national electrical grid collapsed, knocking out power for nearly 10 million people. The hurricane battered the region with gale-force winds and heavy rainfall. Schools, public transport, and flights were suspended until further notice. And in California, 2 wildfires are spreading rapidly, damaging properties and land. The Ventura County, the mountain fire has scorched over 10,400 acres of land by Wednesday, prompting evacuation orders. 140 firefighters were deployed to battle the blaze, which was fueled by strong winds. Meanwhile, in Malibu, the forest fire broke out on Wednesday morning, spreading to 50 acres, with 15% containment reported by the afternoon. And the European Union's Conupius Climate Change Service has announced that 2024 is virtually certain to become the warmest year on record. The temperatures will likely exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. This surpasses the threshold that scientists warn could trigger dangerous weather conditions with global impacts. And on to business and tech news now. Wall Street surged to a record high after Donald Trump's election victory. The Dow Jones rose over 3.5%, while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite each gained over 2.5%. Analysts say the surge was driven by expectations of possible tax cuts and deregulation under the new Trump administration. And share prices linked to President-elect Donald Trump touched new records. Share prices of Trump Media and Technology Group rose by about 6%. The firm operates Trump's social media platform Truth Social. Wednesday's rally added millions of dollars to the president-elect's wealth. Meanwhile, shares of Elon Musk's own Tesla also surged about 15%. Musk was one of the key campaigners for Trump. Meanwhile, American business leaders have extended their congratulatory wishes to Donald Trump. The CEOs of big tech firms like Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon tweeted their wishes. Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai claimed that America is entering a golden age of innovation, while Amazon founder Jeff Bezos said that Trump made an extraordinary political comeback. Billionaire Mark Cuban, who once campaigned for Kamala Harris, said that Trump won fair and square. And Donald Trump's comeback is also making ripples in the Asian markets. Stock markets in China and South Korea fell about 1% today. Meanwhile, Japan's Nikkei 225 and Hong Kong's Hang Seng were trading higher. Yesterday, most of these markets saw gains, barring the Hang Seng. And the US dollar surged on the US election counting day. It continued to strengthen against its peers like the pound, euro, and the Japanese yen even today. The dollar index surged about 1.6%. The index measures the dollar's strength against 6 major currencies. Meanwhile, Trump's victory battered Iran's currency, the rial, as it fell to record lows. And oil prices rose today after yesterday's sell-off. The global oil price benchmark Brent crude rose by 0.4% to over $75 per barrel. Yesterday, oil prices had declined by over $2 per barrel due to concerns over a new presidency. Trump has vowed to drill new oil wells, which investors fear will increase supply and push down prices. And Trump-favored cryptocurrency Bitcoin also rose to a new record high today. The cryptocurrency has been rallying since yesterday. It first crossed the $75,000 mark as the Republican edged toward victory. Today, the world's largest digital currency crossed the $76,000 mark. Meanwhile, the world has started responding to the possible future policies of President-elect Donald Trump. Taiwan says it will help its companies to relocate production out of China. And this comes as Trump has vowed to impose high tariffs on goods imported from China. Speaking at the Taiwanese parliament, the island's economy minister said that the impact of Trump's potential tariffs would be quite large. And the Australian government plans to bring a bill to ban children under 16 from social media platforms. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says social media is doing harm to our kids, and I'm calling time on it. He added that his government plans to bring the bill to Parliament later this month. And Canada has ordered the Chinese social media app TikTok to wind up its business in the country. The government said the platform poses a national security risk to Canada. The move came after the government's year-long assessment of TikTok's business. Although TikTok will continue to operate in the country as the government hasn't blocked the app. And moving on to sports news, and we start with cricket. Afghanistan beat Bangladesh by 92 runs in the first one-day international of a three-match series. Batting first, Afghanistan scored 235 runs. Bangladesh looked well-placed to chase down the target. But the Afghan spinner Ali Ghazanfar dismantled Bangladeshi batting order. Ghazanfar had taken 6 wickets and gave away just 26 runs. Bangladesh were bowled out for 143 runs. And in football news, Arsenal fell to Inter Milan in the Champions League. Inter Milan beat Arsenal 1-0. For Inter Milan, Hakan Çalhanoğlu had secured a penalty toward the end of the first half. The midfielder quickly converted it into a goal, and Inter Milan held on to the 1-0 lead to secure the victory. And Club Brugge beat Aston Villa 1-0 in the Champions League. For the winning side, Hans van Aken converted a penalty into the goal in the 52nd minute. Villa had won the first 3 games in the Champions League, but their unbeaten run in the competition has hit a shuddering halt. And in tennis, world number 5, Elena Rybakina gave world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, her first loss at a WTA finals. Rybakina beat Sabalenka 6-4, 3-6, 6-1 in a group stage match. Sabalenka has already topped her group at the WTA by winning the previous 2 matches. She will be playing the semi-final on the 8th of November. And boxer Mani Khalif will reportedly file a lawsuit over media reports about leaked medical records. Earlier this week, reports in France claimed that Khalif has the XY or male chromosomes. The Algerian boxer won an Olympic gold in Paris earlier this year. And in entertainment news, Hollywood celebrities who endorsed Donald Trump for the U.S. presidency are elated with his victory. Hulk Hogan said that he was praying for Trump's win. Podcaster Joe Rogan posted a video online of Trump, and actor Jake Paul posted, and I quote, "The truth and God won in America." Meanwhile, actor Brittany Aldine's social media post stated that it feels like Christmas morning. And in a short message, actor Kevin Sorbo said that Christ is King, Trump is President, good night. And actor Zachary Levi said that he was grateful to those who voted Trump. Alongside celebrations for Trump's win, there were plenty of outcries as well. Hollywood celebs who supported Kamala Harris seemed devastated. Singer Ariana Grande posted, and I quote, "Holding the hand of every person who is feeling the immeasurable heaviness of this outcome today." Echoing similar sentiments, singer Billie Eilish called Trump's victory a war on women. Meanwhile, actor Kevin McHale started, and I quote, ultra-conservative evangelical bigotry, xenophobia, racism is the mandate. And actor Christina Applegate said that her child is sobbing because her rights as a woman may be taken away, while rapper Cardi B posted that she hates everyone for voting Trump. American singer and Kamala Harris supporter Bruce Springsteen opened his Toronto show in a subtle manner. He began his concert by saying that the concert is a fighting prayer for his country. Springsteen then started singing the song A Long Walk Home. The song plays around themes of hometown, a woman, freedom, and family. He also sang Land of Hopes and Dreams. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.